damage pattern looks like. Or basically where someone of Mr. O'Keefe's height arm would contact the rear tail light.
And also the family of the perpetrator. Going forward, we Morgans are choosing to put our energy and focus into honoring Maddie's too short life.
Like, you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
What is no big deal to us is a big deal to these litigants, right?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Source and Order. I go by the name of Heinz, your friendly neighborhood Ketchupman, and we are back on Ketchup Court where we make trials a little bit more digestible for you. Welcome to the show. Thank you ever so much for everyone for tuning in. I just want to say we have reached a massive hinge point on this Monica Sementilli trial. Before I do continue, I just want to say if you can hear me properly, because I have changed the setup a little bit here. So let me know if you're having a little bit of sound difficulties or anything like that in the comments if you're watching back on replay, or in the chat if you're watching me live now. But anyway, I just want to get to Monica Sementilli trial because a lot of the testimonies for the last 2 days has been really, and I mean really insane, because it needs a lot of unpacking. There's a lot of information that's come out, and as I was going through this particular week, trying to listen to all of the testimony coming from the cross-examination to prepare for this, I realized that pretty much a lot of the testimonies that are gonna come is going to be a lot more comprehensive, because guess what? We are not even done with Mitzi Roberts' testimony, because she was providing a lot of the context before Christopher Austin actually stepped onto the stage to actually, give his really emotional testimony, but not just emotional, very informative, and lets us know what was happening with that night, with that day, with the planning of the murder, revealing new information such as, there was a first attempt, something that we have never heard all through this trial. And because of that, I was wondering, a lot of the things that came out requires a lot of context. So for this particular episode, I know that a lot of you guys did vote on last week's show to basically say that you would like to see the cross-examination and how the defense basically handled all of the situation. And we will get to that on this show. We definitely will get to that to basically show how the defense pretty much handled, and how that little context, that little analysis that we are going to give, what it might show in regards to how the why the jury probably went the way that they did, because it really was a massive game changer. If the defense do not contain what Christopher Austin testified to, what Cyril testified to, as well as Corey Farell, I believe that's his name, what they all testified to back to back, if that is not contained, we can all see how this verdict came to be. So without further, I'm just gonna go through what's gonna be happening on today's show, because we are going to, first and foremost, before we go into the cross-examination and analyze what was happening with Christopher Austin and the others, we have to go back in time a little bit and bring the context back. So without further, let's do just that. Shout out to everyone that are here. Let's get into the show and look back to, the bombshells that was released on the last episode. Let's go.
We get the money. Who was he talking about?
Him and the defendant.
Did he specifically state insurance money?
He did.
That a vehicle was rented that I've been told has been associated with Mr. Baker, and that vehicle rental was at 11:01.
Photograph from inside the parking garage showing Baker's, or at least the front end of his Ford Expedition and a red Mustang.
Correct.
Okay, that last episode was a chain reaction, and now we're going to provide some context to that chain reaction that occurred with Christopher Austin. Shout out to everyone that are here. Random Girl, I see you. Sorry, I meant to say, yeah. Random Girl, shout out. Thank you so much for joining, as well as Trial Channel. I'm messing up with my highlighting button, but yeah, both of you guys, I appreciate you, and the lurkers as well. I know that there are a couple of lurkers here. Shout out for to you guys for joining. Hopefully you guys will step out of your zone and chat. I hope that you are having a nice Sunday as well. Thank you so much for that, Random Girl. Yeah, I hope you're having a nice Sunday as well. But without further, let's go into what's in store in this mega recap. You could call it mega recap. We're not going to go through all of the testimony. We are going to spend a bit of time filling in because there's a lot of witnesses to try and contextualize everything. So before we go into the mega recap, right, before we look back on the previous testimonies that has led up to this massive turning point, this hinge point, this pivotal moment from the Christopher Austin testimony, we have to establish everything, well, pretty much the main themes that was developed and really used as a spine in that testimony. So the first thing that we have to establish is the motive as well as the intent. Well, pretty much the intent we're going to focus on this mega recap, but mainly the motive that basically enabled this crime to happen, why it probably happened the way it did, then the intent, which is basically and also the opportunity that revealed itself in Christopher Austin's testimony. So with the motive, of course, we know that this was the insurance money. We heard Christopher Austin gave testimony in regards to that. So I'm going to look back to all the testimonies that are related or near the insurance money and what they have to do with that, bring and try and provide a better context to what Christopher Austin was testifying to in regards to this insurance money. Then we're going to go through Fabio's new Porsche testimony, because that is something that is uniquely testified to by Christopher Austin, because he could not have learned that information from anyone else outside of the one common link, and that was Baker. So we're going to provide a bit of context into that Porsche testimony. And then the DVR system, we're going to provide context into that as well, because in my opinion, I think that presents the opportunity part, because I believe in looking back in all of this, I don't think that DVR even comes into play at all. But I do think that DVR system comes in. And then the intent, which was Monica wanting Fabio dead because she didn't like him. This was revealed with Austin, and I said in the last show that this in the last episode, that this was the I forgot the word. This was the ulterior motive that Monica had, because we were all thinking that she wanted to do it for the insurance, all of those things, but it turned out that it was way deeper than that. And then everything is gonna be building up to this murder attempt and try to fill in the gaps in regards to the murder attempt. So first and foremost, we are going to go into the I should have shared this screen really for the sketch of squeeze, but we are going to go into Ryan Verna's testimony, where he had gone through a flurry of calls. I believe he was on day 3 when he was testifying. So he had gone through a flurry of calls where he had how do I put it? The flurry of calls that he had when when Monica was calling Detective Parshall to basically find out the status updates of the investigation. And this was when he was asked a question in regards to the insurance payout, and this was the first introduction of the word ruse, because he said that he told Monica, etc., and all those that he told Monica that the insurance was going to get paid out, and this was to put them off a little bit longer. We didn't know what it means, and to be quite fair, we still did it. We wouldn't have learned a lot of what it meant until much later on. But that was the testimony back then. This call happened. This call from call 1 to 6 happened on the 17th of April 2017 to the 14th of June 2017, and all of those time, again, it was so all that time, it was really important to get that testimony in regards to putting to basically saying that the insurance payout was a ruse. So with that happening, it puts a lot of context into Gail Bulingame's testimony in regards to going into the lot and buying basically the vehicle that he did, because I believe that happened on the 3rd of April, 3rd of March, I think, 3rd of March, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure the trial channel will correct me, but I believe it was 3rd of April. Anyway, moving on. This was the main question that I wanted to get into. It was this was the main testimony that I do want to go through really quickly, where Monica had basically said that the insurance had basically told her that Fabio was the aggressor. Let's take a listen to this.
You have your daughter, and you guys are going to be able to get through this whole thing, right? You know, you can come back in. I don't have anything else for you right now. We're going to do everything in our power to find out who did this. There's video everywhere. We're going to start with that. We're going to start with that video. No, that we're going to have to go through and process the whole house. It's probably going to be here for hours and hours and hours processing that evidence. Okay. I'm done. Okay. I know your dad was asking about cats too. Okay. I saw one cat. A gray one. You didn't go outside already? Okay.
I hope I've got the right one. I should have the right one. It should be here.
I had another question. You said the dog was on the phone. The house phone. Did you take the phone out there to the patio? Okay. I don't know. Did you recall being on speakerphone? Yeah, he was telling us what to do. Okay. Monica, you want to come back out to living now with your daughters, and then we'll talk to Bella or one of your daughters. That's okay. Is that okay if we talk to Bella? Yeah. Okay. Can someone else be here, a neighbor or something? Because I don't want to get crisis. Yeah. Okay, we can have one of the crisis response. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
Transcript.
Okay, that's yeah. Okay, let's continue.
So, Detective, do you have a recollection of that interview that we just heard?
Yes.
And did you recognize the voices on that recording?
Yes.
And whose voices were on that recording?
Primarily it was Detective Farell and Monica Sementilli, and I was also in the interview myself.
Okay. During the course of the interview, we could hear the defendant crying. Did you notice anything unusual during the interview with respect to that?
I did.
And what was that?
There was sobbing, there was visual, accused of her being upset, but I did notice there were no tears.
Okay, now let's go into the testimony in regards to the life insurance payout and the testimony around that, because unfortunately I didn't quite. I will return to it, I'll return to it. But this is the part that I wanted in regards to the aggressor. Oh gosh, Oh, what's my internet playing up now? Oh, did I do something bad? Did I do something bad?
Course
Okay, there we go. It's playing now. All right. Apologies for this. My Google Chrome is messing up on me. Oh, okay. All right. I think this is when. Oh yeah. Hold up. Let me try and fix this. Police. First police.
Now,
all right, there we go. Apologies for this. Let me pick the wrong video by accident. All right, here we go. Should be.
I'm aware of during the course of.
That's not it. All right. Apologies for this, guys. Damn. I picked the wrong videos. This is what I wanted. No wonder why the first one didn't go well. Let's go.
Objection calls for speculation.
All right.
Fabio was there ever any question about whether Fabio was an aggressor in his own murder?
Objection calls for speculation.
As formed, okay.
Was there any conversation that you had with the life insurance company about Fabio, the victim in this case, acting as an aggressor?
Objection calls for speculation.
That's overruled. Not that I'm aware of.
There was no evidence to that effect. Is that correct?
There was none that I saw.
That wasn't the question with respect to the life insurance company. Is that correct?
Correct.
The issue was clearing the 4 beneficiaries. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you and your partner cleared 3 of them, that being Fabio's 3 children. Is that correct?
Correct.
So the only one that was outstanding with respect to your department and clearance for life insurance payout was the defendant.
Yes.
Okay, so that's important because in the call before, Monica was basically saying that Fabio was the aggressor. With everything that we've come to learn, the reason why I believe she was saying this is to try and get the life insurance at least paid out quicker, because she didn't know what was going on, and for some reason the life insurance was not coming in thick and fast as she expected. So based on what we've come to learn, I believe that she was doing all of this so that she can get the life insurance quicker. And I'm going to go into this a bit more so that you can see why this testimony was set up the way that it did. Because the part that I really wanted, I mean, even though the follow-up questions does kind of show what we're saying, the part that I really wanted was the part in which Monica did say that she spoke with her insurance and they told her that Fabio would need to be ruled out as an aggressor so that if he was to be a beneficiary. So that is what she was basically telling to Detective Farell, and that is basically what he's testifying to here, that there was no such thing. He was there is another testimony here that he gave that I want to get to. I think it's here in the redirect exam that I want to get to in regards to this whole beneficiary issue. But first I want to say something. I'm going to highlight the part of the testimony that he gave in regards to Robert Baker and Monica giving details about Robert Baker and its inconsistency.
A person named Robert. The defendant lied to you at that point, correct? She told you she thought his last name was Baker, correct?
That's what she said, yes.
You also were asked about multiple questions with respect to why this didn't look like it was consistent with the knock-knock burglars. None of those cases involved a murder of someone, a homeowner, correct?
That I'm aware of, yes.
Okay, so that was in regards to, again, her inquiring further into the insurance and into, and they were inquiring further around this same time into her relationship with Baker. We're going to expand more on the relationship later, but I just thought I'd serve that so that you guys can see what was coming up in the from putting Detective Verna on first, because he was the first investigator with Detective Farell, and there is a lot of context in regards to his testimony that I thought was worth highlighting. So now this is the part that I wanted, which was the beneficiary of the life insurance policy.
He was the main beneficiary, correct?
Sustained.
Did the defendant lie to you regarding the fact that she was the main beneficiary on a life insurance policy?
Sustained.
Did the defendant tell you the truth regarding the fact that she was the main beneficiary on a life insurance policy?
Sustained.
Did the defendant ever mention to you that she knew she was the main beneficiary on a life insurance policy?
No.
Along with the affair-raising suspicions, did her repeated lies also raise suspicion?
It is sustained.
Okay, so there was one last part of Ryan Verna's testimony where he testified in regards to never ever wanting to call, that he was never ever going to, on the recross examination anyway, that he was never ever going to call the insurance company to say that they are having an active investigation. Let's take a listen.
And tell them that Monica Sementilli, in your mind, was a suspect in this case, and therefore she should not be awarded the life insurance she would ordinarily have been due from MetLife.
I'm pretty sure indirectly that's what was going on.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm pretty sure indirectly that's what was going on.
When you say indirectly?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell somebody that hey, we're investigating her as the one of the suspects in this case. It's not going to happen.
Well,
I don't care who they are.
But you were aware, LAPD, and you were aware that she had life insurance with MetLife.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And you were aware it hadn't been paid because she was asking you about it, correct? And when were you going to find out who the hell killed her husband?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. The mayor was also accumulative.
So, say it again?
She was constantly hounding you about when you were going to find out who killed her husband.
She was.
Correct? And also the fact that until you found who killed her husband or cleared her, they would not award her the life insurance, correct?
She was going to have to wait. You're right.
Right. And the children as well?
I'm not aware of the children, if the children got paid out or not.
And she even indicated to you that she may have to move because of what was going on financially and so forth.
Decisions have consequences, sir.
Okay. Well, my question is, did she tell you that?
Yes.
And that whatever salary MetLife, his company, P&G, were paying was going to run out after 6 months, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And she even asked you, you know, if that was all right, if she moved or whatever, and you said that's up to you, correct?
Yep.
So every time she contacted you and was asking what the hell was going on with this case, you basically led her on to say, don't worry, we've got it. DNA's gonna match, we'll take care of it, correct?
We had it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and yeah, they not only had the DNA, but you also have to question what was why was she doing that? That was the first impression that was left from from pretty much the start of this episode, from episode 3. You can go catch back up on that. But there's a lot more to his testimony that I would implore you to go and watch if you have the time to really get what was going on. But that was the seeds that was being planted, because a lot of his testimony is going to be expanded on I'm going to touch on briefly later on with Chris Gable, because that was the that he was basically providing a jump off point to what Chris Gable was going to testify to later. But I want to go into the next testimony in regards to the life insurance, where Luigi Sementilli came in to come and testify in regards to this particular issue about the life insurance. So this was, and his testimony was basically giving context in regards to finding out about this life insurance the week after the father had died. Let's quickly go through his testimony, because it was quite insightful.
And I think what I said, just not taking in the information, was let me talk to Dad. And then I think I hung up, she hung up the phone line, that call ended. But then we were again on another phone call, and then the phone was passed around to some other people.
All right. So when the phone call ended, did you call somebody? Did you call your father's line at that point?
I believe I did, because I hung up and then tried my dad's line, no answer, and then I believe I had gotten a call back from Jessica's number. I think was the order of events.
Okay, so after this is when after this call that he received from Deborah Obad in regards to, I think he received it from Jessica first. She was just doing this short talk, and then Deborah Obad calls him. He makes his way to the residence in which Monica was basically saying they are going to receive a hefty amount of money, and she was looking gleeful about it, etc. This is basically the testimony to basically fill in and give us the amount of money that they were basically looking to receive. This was when they first learned about the money. This was in that week. So there was an expectation that Monica had after receiving the life insurance, after learning about what she stood to earn, basically.
Well, the defendant showed you a document similar to this one?
Yes, many times.
Or this one?
Several times, yes.
Okay.
In one instance, I was brought up, like we were saying, I was brought up to that room, and a fresh version was printed out, a hard copy. Yeah.
Okay. And was the defendant showing you this document?
Oh, yes.
And what, if anything, did she say about the document that looked like this, that she printed out that day while you were in town that week for your father's viewing and wake?
Yes, so when she printed out the document, she was showing it to me. It was just me and her up there. She was looking at it, looking down, smiling at it, and even in the strange way, petting this piece of paper.
What do you mean by petting?
Just looking at it as though it was some precious thing that she was holding on to in her hands, kind of moving her hand across it.
I just want to stop for a minute and just basically say, what are those? I get it, my filter looks, yes, but this is the only filter that I could find that actually is compatible with my mic and actually brings out the sound properly. I'm a very big, I'm not sure if the word is audiophile, but I'm very big on, I don't know, it's always been irritating me because of my environment, and the acoustics in this house is really bad. So I had to find a way to just, it's ugly now, but when I finally get a proper place, this thing is doing its job right now. Anyway, don't hate. I appreciate you, random girl. Anyway, so going back into this, she, as we literally just heard, she was stroking it, saying, look at all these numbers. So again, we get the idea of expectation, and also Luigi goes on to testify in regards to Monica speaking with law enforcement basically around this time as well, about frustrations of not receiving the life, with basically not receiving the insurance basically. But there was a key testimony that he gave in regards to Monica sending him a picture and telling him to delete that picture in regards to a life insurance that she has sent him. I didn't know that earlier on, but I still, this hasn't been revealed yet. I don't know. I can't find any context that will fit into this. If you guys that have been following from the start that I've covered this, or you watched it independently for yourself and you know the context behind this, let me know in the chat, because I really do want to know what is the significance of this picture and delete, and why Monica will send this. I am guessing probably is just speaking to her nature in regards into her pattern, the fact that she likes to deliver, the fact that she likes to delete stuff. You know, we've come to learn that she was doing all of that. So but moving on, Salvatore Moschieri came in to testify in regards to being informed by HR. I'm not going to go into his testimony, but he was basically being informed by HR that that Monica was calling them incessantly in regards to the life insurance. So with the way that everything was ordered, you got to love this strategy, because there's a story here building up. So Luigi was the first one to basically come into picture and give the groundwork in regards to his life insurance, and he was the first person to have learned about this life insurance. So he was first, with Salvatore Mosheri coming in to give testimony about how Monica was reacting at this point. We can start to see that maybe within that same week, probably on the 28th, 29th, maybe around that time, maybe the 30th, that's when she started getting unrest. I've noted those times down that I've just said, because we are going to hear a lot more testimony that might go back to this period because of what has been revealed about the involvement of Albert Birdsong in all of this, and how he had a burner and they were communicating on the 30th around that time. Also, another thing that was revealed from Austin's testimony that is really contemporary, that might explain why she was calling around trying to get the insurance, was also Austin being started getting the WhatsApp group. I think this was on the 29th as well. That was revealed. I think it was from Cyray's testimony, and I think Christopher Austin testified to the WhatsApp group as well. So that is really important, because around this time, Monica was calling for the insurance money. Then we heard from Tracey Racavich. Again, I'm not going to go into it, but she was basically saying that, providing testimony, saying that Monica was the main beneficiary of the of the insurance and the supplemental income that was going to come in from Fabio's I forgot what you call it, but from Fabio's time at the company. So she confirmed that. Henry Meyer, which we got to hear, I believe, from the opening from Ryan Verna. I believe it was from Ryan Verna. Correct me if I'm wrong. But she was basically testifying that Henry was not being helpful. But Henry came in to basically say, and of course, Tracey Racavich had already paid out the life insurance at the sum of 914 grand. That's what she testified to, which I think I should actually go into it. Let me just quickly touch on it, because because it does say it serve as a precursor. I just realized this on the fly. It does serve as a precursor for what is going to it's gonna make sense, because I was wondering for the life insurance payout, but Tracey here basically comes in to testify in regards to this payout. Here we go.
By MetLife was only made to 3 of the 4 beneficiaries on Monica Sementilli's policy.
Yes, it does.
And does it also appear to be, in terms of the amounts paid, consistent with the percentages that Fabio Sementilli delegated for his beneficiaries with respect to his life insurance, as well as his accidental death and dismemberment policy?
Yes, approximately.
And so here we see that MetLife paid out a total claim of approximately $914,000.
Yeah. Yes.
Was any police report ever filed with you by the LAPD to send to MetLife?
No.
Okay, that's important here, because I think she said 3 of the 4 policies was paid out. So that will cover Isabella, that will cover Jessica, and that will cover what's his name? Luigi. Damn it, I always get his name wrong. I apologize. But yeah, that will cover those 3. Monica is the only one that hasn't received the payout. So at this point, we get the idea that I mean, looking back on all this, it kind of makes sense why she would react the way she did, but it doesn't also make sense why she's bringing out the story of the aggressor. There's so much context that has to be filled, and that's when Henry Meyer comes in, because he was the one that was supervising Janet Cover as well as Tracey Racavich. So everything that Tracey is basically testifying to here is going to have to come through it's going to have to come through Henry Meyer. He's going to have a full knowledge of it. So he would have been told at this point that the payout has been done for the 3 kids, but not for Monica. And I'm guessing is because of what we've come to learn is because of what Steve Castro, which he came on way later in the case, and he was the 19th he was the 20th witness, sorry. So he was basically testifying in regards to, he was the one to have given the instruction not to release the money, to not release the money, the insurance company do not release the money to Monica. So let's listen to that testimony here, and let me just go to it so that you guys can see. Okay, I think it's here. Okay, here we go.
Victim's son, wife, and 2 daughters.
Okay. Now, as far as if anyone had been cleared, did you have any conversation about if people needed to be cleared in order to receive life insurance?
Yes.
What was that conversation?
The conversation was that I instructed the insurance company not to release any funds pending further investigation until everyone's cleared.
And is that customary in the homicide investigations that you've been part of?
Yes.
So now now we understand a lot more why Ryan Verna was very staunch on not ever telling Monica that she was a suspect, because end of the day, that will just defeat the whole purpose of, well, if the children have received the money, then clearly she is a suspect. So if they were just to tell her, yeah, she's a suspect, so we can't, her behavior would change and all of those things. So I think that's when Monica, I don't think she knows that she was a suspect. I just think that she believed that there was a fault in the system somewhere, and she was trying to fix it. And maybe someone at the life insurance company, we haven't heard any testimony to it, but maybe, just maybe someone there had figured out that hey, if she's, let's not tell her something either. I don't know, but yeah, Trial Channel is like, I think I said something smart, so thank you, Trial Channel. I think I said something smart. So yeah, Chris Gable was another witness in regards to testifying in regards to this whole life insurance issue, and he was testifying to instructing Verna and Detective Farell to inform Monica that they're going to release the money to see what their what their reaction was going to be. Let me try and find it. If I can't find it, just trust my words at this point. Okay, I can't find the testimony. It's just okay. We will get back to Chris Gable later, but just trust me. He did make that testimony in regards to releasing the money so that they could gauge their reaction. Then he testifies to. Now I do really need to show this one because Let me try and find it quickly because this particular testimony was after he was recalled back to the stand, and he basically gave testimony in regards to hopefully I don't think I have the right timestamp, if I'm being honest, and I don't want to put too much spend too long on this recap. So anyway, let me let me try and find it. I believe it's here. Okay, this is when the cross begins. I do want to say hold up. I think it's here. think it's here. Hopefully it's here. Hopefully it's here. And I've got the right timestamp. Let's listen to this particular testimony. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I do apologize. I'm not gonna go into it, but he did test. But this was the message that he had sent to Monica, that Detective Pasha had sent to Monica, and this message was forwarded to Baker in his Dropbox. I wanted to show that, but unfortunately, I couldn't find the script. It's been a hectic week, and basically that would have been the perfect point for it. But let me actually try and. I've got this mind. I just can't let anything go. I got this mind. I can't let anything go. I must find that clip because it's. I hate myself for picking the wrong. For picking the wrong video again. Oh gosh. Let me see if this is the. I believe this is the one. Did I find it? Yes, I did. Oh, I think so. Let's listen to this testimony around it.
This is a phone call to Rob Baker's phone number.
Okay, so the email was opened at 3:15, and then 2 minutes later she made a call to Baker.
Yeah, 3.
Thank you, Trial Channel, for making it easy, because the way that you've tiled everything, yeah.
17, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so
Can you tell
much.
what kind of call that is?
Her channel is wonderful.
I mean, you can tell it connected or from the voicemail if you can tell.
According to, I think it's zero duration, so.
Okay. And then on number 25, 6/9/2017 at 3:20, what is that?
That's a phone call to Detective Gene Crosshaw's desk line.
Okay, and then again, that's,
Zero duration.
okay, so again, 5 minutes after she opened it. Between her opening the email, did she make any calls before she called Baker?
Just review it. No.
So Baker was the first call after she opened the email, clearing her by LRP.
Yes.
So this was, if we look at the time, Baker was the first call. So this was on the 9th. This was on the 9th of June 6th. So that was learning about the life insurance pay clearance.
Yeah.
So
Because it was in the
So the first thing that she done when learning about Baker is to get this message from Detective Parshall.
I assume so, Mr. Stricken. It was an SD card remains.
And then were you part of this SD card?
I'm sorry?
For you, the SD card, okay, so your SD card, did you examine his SD card that Baker's, during the time that you investigated this case?
Yes.
What was your role in that?
The day of the arrest, we did search warrants at multiple locations to include Baker's residence, and the detectives that searched the warrant of that location recovered, amongst other things, this SD card. Once we got it back, I sent it to our digital people to be downloaded, and then I viewed it.
Okay.
Okay, so the SD card, we heard about that. Nothing has been expanded to yet, but I believe that's going to come later on, because the highest that we've got from that testimony is from Mitzi Roberts. Again, we're going to go through her testimony on the next episode, episode 12, after I've listened to all our testimony, because she is not done. She is a long way to go. But in regards to this, let's just speed this up a little bit, because that is the last of the testimony in regards to insurance. We now have to move to the intent part. Remember what we talked about in regards to earlier, Fabio's new Porsche, DVR system, as well as Monica wanting Fabio dead because she didn't like him. That was the ulterior motive that was revealed. All of this is leading up to the first attempts that was done on Fabio's life by Christopher Austin. So in every testimony in regards to wanting Fabio dead has been established by Detective Ryan Verna, which we are going to go back into. Let me just try and let me just try and find the proper testimony, because I do believe he testified in regards to the victim having sharp force injury. We heard this from the medical examiner, from the neck bleeding out. The pictures of the dining area had a lot of blood on the floor. So So every testimony around this part. Oh, I forgot to mention one person in regards to. I did forget to mention one person in regards to. We are gonna get more testimony around this anyway. So I haven't forgotten it's coming up anyway. There was a lot of blood on the floor in the dining area. So that was his testimony. But crucially, he had shown surveillance videos of the property where it was shown. Let me try and show it here. I think it's here, where Detective Parshall had basically shown that the I don't have my timestamps properly on this. I don't have my timestamps. Oh gosh, I do apologize again. Anyway, I don't have my timestamps properly on this. But anyway, what Detective Ryan Verna was basically showing, I'll just say the times. He was basically showing that Jessica was leaving the house at 3:47. Fabio's vehicle was leaving the house at 4:53. And Isabella returned to her at 4:54, literally just 1 minute after Fabio's vehicle was leaving, and then the vehicle was being abandoned. And at 5:03, Monica returns home in a pickup truck. So at 9:30 p.m. was when the vehicle was being abandoned. That's all we knew. And based on everything that we've come to learn, it's been an evolution over time. We can see the strategy unfolding because based on everything that they knew at the time, I'm pretty sure they may have been able to get Ryan Verna to testify to more of the investigation, but I also sense that it would have been overkill because he does know a lot and he was assisting a lot and he could have set up a lot. But I can tell that when it came to his testimony, there was a lot of ground to cover, or well, a lot of foundation to lay. But the most crucial testimony that was adjacent to this was Salvatore Muschieri, who testified to receiving a voice message from Fabio on the 23rd of January 2017, which we haven't heard anything about. We haven't heard anything about his voice message or anything like that, and he sent it to the LAPD. I don't know if this is going to become material later on. I don't know if they're gonna play this voice message at any point in this trial, but I am looking forward to it. Then we got to hear from Matthew Nurse, and he was the one that was giving testimony about Monica telling him that Fabio was basically cheating on her or something like that. That she was that she was unhappy in that marriage, and she believed that her husband was cheating on her, which was wild to hear. This was the first witness in, and Monica also expressed a romantic interest with him. So that was Matthew Nurse that provided context in regards to this affair idea, because that is where the intent to kill is developed. Luigi Sementilli built on that testimony in regards to he built that on that testimony in regards to the affairs, and he testified in regards to Monica and Fabio having fights in regards to the extramarital affairs, in which Fabio had, Fabio would find something that shouldn't have been found, perhaps, and the defendant, which that I'm quoting him here, the defendant being, defensive and apologetic and all of that. So that was Luigi's testimony in regards to Monica, because I believe at this point is when likely Fabio has started seeing messages between who knows, Fabio, not Fabio, between Robert and Monica. That's what I think anyway. And also there was another incident in which Jessica blurted out in the car about Monica flirting at the grocery store. So all of this is just to give the idea about an extra infidelity. We also heard from Salehial, who testified in regards to Monica going away to Vegas after the murder. But that's not. But the real interest, in my opinion, is Jake Gibson, who was giving testimony. And I really want to highlight this testimony because he gave testimony about. This is where the intent is, because his testimony, he gave testimony in regards to Monica sending, the DVR system email, forwarding on to a Diane Arbol email, and he also testifies in regards to a photograph of Monica and Baker, going off into Vegas. But the most interesting part was this testimony on cross-examination. That I'll just be straight, I just didn't see this coming, because especially with how it's unfolded now. At the time, I thought that this was weird. Why would you want to offer this information? But based on what has come out in this week of watching all this trial replay, it's crucial, really, and I will highlight why. Let's listen to the cross-examination here, where a lifestyle lounge testimony, where a testimony is being made in regards to lifestyle lounge. Let's listen.
2017, correct? Correct. And the UTC -8, that shows it's already been converted into LA time. That is LA time. Correct. And these logs go down to January 23rd, 2017. Yeah? Correct. And here you see there is a web page that is logged. It's lifestylelounge.com. You see that? Yes. So that will show that at that time, on that day, 10/23/24, that device is accessing that web page, correct? Correct. And you see here, we have a few entries, right? 447. See that? Yes. That's on the same day, January 23rd, correct? Yeah, January 23rd. And then we're going to a few seconds in each other. 447:42 seconds, 447:40 seconds, 447:40 seconds, 447:38 seconds. You see that? Yes.
Okay, look at that time. I mean, I know Trial Channel. I gotta admire you for putting in the arrows, because you can't find it in the normal stream, which is why I love her, because she will put these little Easter eggs for you to like kind of follow along, which I love. But you would not. This moment is so crucial. It's so pivotal, because if we are talking about Crossroads and how chaos is controlled, this is not good context to have. And I hope that the jury were looking back on these testimonies, and looking at it and be like, why is this coming up, etc. Because in that deliberation room. But the reason why I think that this moment was picked up on top of the swinger site, because it is a swinger site, and it does help the theory of the defense in regards to Monica seeing other people and not just Baker. So she was seeing other people, but also Baker also had a swinger site account as well, and this lifestyle lounge was also encrypted. So that's one fact. But the other fact is what happens when, I believe, when Detective Corey Farell gave testimony in regards to what Monica was doing after the first attempt was made.
A 10-page timeline from the defendant's iPhone extraction for the date of January 22nd of 2017 that shows these particular searches as well as the deletions history. May it be marked, please, as people's next in order.
That'd be 259.
Thank you. Showing you the Celebrite report. For the defendant's Apple iPhone. Is this the extraction that you looked at for January 22nd of 2017?
Yes.
And if we look over at the right column, what does this column represent? Where it says yes in red.
That the information attached to that particular line had been recovered from a deleted area.
If I go to the third page, where there's a line 24, what do we see here at 5:12 p.m.?
See a message, incoming message, instant message from a person that she's identified as Daddy, and I believe that to be the cell phone associated with Monica Sementilli, to her cell phone number. It's listed as Monica, owner, and the Google search for "fa" near me.
Subsequent to that, are there searches on the web, through the web history on this device, as we talked about, beginning at 5:12 p.m., for Google searches near me?
Yes.
And then below that, again at 5:13 p.m. on January 22nd, do we see a search specific to this location, faux CA or faux California, as you mentioned?
Yes.
And over to the right, again, does it indicate that these searches were deleted from the defendant's cell phone?
Yes.
But were recovered during the Celebrite extraction?
Correct.
Okay.
And looking at the following page, page 4, again, do we see multiple searches relating to this same location where the address comes up on line 32 that you just testified about, 19548 Ventura Boulevard?
Correct.
All right. So this is the deletion of the faux search. Now, why is that important? Because I wanted to set that part up. I wanted to show that because the testimony from Cyrey that he gave that gave a bit more context. Let me try and find it. I hope it's here. Did I close it by accident? No, I did not. I found it. Okay, the testimony here that he gave in regards to the day of the murder, when Monica had learned that Fabio had died. This testimony is crucial because he gave testimony around the time frame of 4:46 and 4:50 Cyrey. That goes right back into the Lifestyle Lounge access at 4:47 p.m. on the 23rd. Now, this is a testimony from Cyrey. She has already deleted from the first attempt. She had deleted that thinking it was successful, and then it wasn't. We got to learn that from Austin. Now, going into Cyrey's testimony, we're gonna show what she does on the second attempt, which she learned that was successful.
Store by 4:42. At 4:46, she's going to send a message to Mr. Baker via Viber.
We are talking about intent. This is the hinge point. The states are putting everything firmly and showing the intent that Monica and how she is part of this first degree murder.
4:52, she's leaving the store. At 4:53, we see the black Porsche leaving.
Just before 4:53, the black Porsche leaving at approximately 4:50, did you note that the defendant deleted the Lifestyle Lounge application from her phone?
I did. There's actually a handful of things that get deleted at that time, but the Lifestyle Lounge is one of the things, correct.
And the one thing that is so important in all of this is because Cyrey deals particularly with pattern of life, all of those things, because when it got to his testimony and and everything that he had found with his testimony, we got to learn that, well, to be quite fair, there was, I believe, when I was putting all of this together today and like quantifying every messages, there was a strange alignment on the 22nd of January. A total of 69 Viber messages, as he testified to on that same day, was sent on the 22nd between Baker and Monica, from the time frame of 3 to 5. I think it was 69 approximately. On the day of the murder, it was 68 that was sent from I believe it was 11. No, sorry, not 11. From 8 until 5. That is some weird ass coincidence. That is just one message less. I mean, he didn't highlight the total number of messages that was sent on the day of the murder. He didn't highlight that, but it's just weird. It's just weird that a total of 68 Viber messages was sent from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the day of the murder, and the information is still not complete, of course, because we don't know if there was more messages sent after 5 p.m. But based on the day of the murder and how she wouldn't usually communicate, because they were communicating, I believe, a total, and I had to total all of what Cyree had established in regards to communication before they even gone on to Viber, that there was a total of 14,798 plus communications between December and April. That's a lot of communications, but comparing that into what's happening within a day is not even close. What's happening within this few hours is not actually close to that. And if you even want to average it out into per day, per hour, it wouldn't hit anything close to what they are having that, because that's spread over 4 months. 14,000 spread over 4 months is not a lot of messages. 5,000 spread in just 1 month, for example. I think there was I didn't do this math. I wish I did. I'll do it for the next episode if it becomes relevant. But I'm guessing that 5,000 averaging that to 30 days is gonna be, I mean, math is not great. Gosh. Anyway, it's gonna like 1,000 a day basically, or something. I don't know. That doesn't sound accurate either. But anyway, but it wouldn't. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think it would amount to, maybe it will probably amount to maybe 30 a day, maybe 40 at most. I just don't think it would amount to 68 messages in one literal 6-hour block. If you get where I'm trying to come from. But that was the value of Cyree's testimony, because he was the one that really drove that intent battle home. But then we had Curtis Davis, and Curtis Davis' testimony. I mean, before we even get to Curtis Davis, I want to go to Mirella, and don't worry, we are gonna get into the cross-examination soon. I am getting there, but I want to go to Mirella's testimony, because her testimony about Monica in regards to the knives, I just want to play it really, really quickly. I'm not gonna spend too long on this. But yeah, let's hear what she has to say in regards to the day of the murder, about when she had learned about Fabio's murder, etc.
And what did she do when you came to the house that day on the 25th?
25th, sorry.
She looked very distraught. She was upset. She was
Did she
holding Fabio's sweater, and she was just sobbing and sighing and exasperated. And
okay? And did she take you on a tour to show you what she had seen in the house?
I'll
Yes, she did. She took us into the kitchen, and my sister, myself, and my daughter were there following her, and she was telling us that they used vinegar. Do you see? They used vinegar. Do you smell it? Can you still smell it? Why would they use vinegar? Was it to get rid of any DNA? Was it to get rid of DNA? And then she said, they didn't even use my knives. They didn't even use the knives. They were sitting right here. They didn't use my knives. And then she kept walking us around and showed us that there was blood stains and on the floor, but they're clean now. And then she mentioned they took her DVR because the monitor they had in the kitchen was black. So we were looking like we were on a tour, and then she's pointing, there's stains on the door here. I guess the insurance company is going to come and paint again and come and paint this. Then she took us into the bedroom.
And what did she do?
I mean, let's just be real for a minute. Before you even know all of this context, before you even know if you've been following this from day one, you would know what we know now. This testimony is objectively stupid from Monica's perspective. It's not stupid from Mirella, by the way. I'm not calling her stupid. I'm saying what Monica was offering at the time is so stupid objectively that you're wondering, why are you doing this and why are you acting like this? But in light of everything that's come out, it makes Monica sound like a control freak. That she wanted this murder done a particular way. Use my knives. Don't use your own. At least that way you can't be traced. It will stay at my house. That it will seem like a burglary gone wrong. Because we got to learn from Sheila. Salehial, who testified in regards to Robert Baker basically telling her Thursday night, a few days after the murder, voluntarily saying that it was a robbery gone wrong. I'm not gonna go to her testimony, but you get the idea. You get the idea, right? Because it just seems like that. It just seems like she's a micromanager that wanted them to do something like this, and this was her way of venting out that passive aggressive frustration. She wasn't really crying because we heard her testify when we're going through this testimony in depth, where she was saying that I forgot what she said, but anyway, she wasn't really crying. She was just exasperated, etc. She was even I think she even offered up. She being Monica Sementilli offered up more testimony in regards to how she was behaving when they saw the neighbor CCTV, and she was saying I think she was even mentioning a black guy as part of it. So of course, this now reframe, in light of all we know now, she must have known who was it, because everyone was basically saying we can't see who it is, and she was able to make out the color of the person on a bad DVR, on a bad CCTV, according to Mirella's testimony. I mean, I'm not going to spend too long on this because I want to go on to Curtis Davis' testimony, because his testimony was extremely valuable in regards to the day of the murder, and it provides a lot of context for what Monica was doing at 4:32, which we just heard from Cy Ray. Remember, at that time, Monica had deleted the Lifestyle Lounge app. Now we're gonna get that has provided context to what was happening when Curtis Davis had provided this testimony. Let's take a listen.
Found in that artifact off of the phone. Additionally, it shows that the IP address associated with the Sementilli residence was being accessed multiple times on January 23rd, local time, between a span of about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 5:15 p.m.
So this would be a a separate type of record that you're looking at for data, correct? That corroborates what we just saw with respect to the IDMS light application data from her Celebrite, her forensic phone extraction.
Yes, so the previous slide was essentially the device, the phone itself. This particular record is pertaining to the tower, the AT&T data itself.
So basically, he says that all of these spikes of data coming in from 4:15 to 5:15 is like basically like someone streaming a video. So now we go into the next part of his testimony that basically is the clincher for all of this, where he testified into at least the data entries that was being logged in for the DVR system and the CCTV cameras. What's going on? Why can't I hear it? Is it me? Okay.
Just shown. This includes all of the logged activity in that AT&T data record for that home IP address of 104.181.138.147. And there are a total of 10 entries between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 5:15.
10 entries to the home IP address?
Yes.
10. That's 10 logins. Just to micromanage all of this. Just to ensure. I said it on the last episode that she was doing this, but this context is beautiful because I didn't even consider this until looking back on all my notes to try and put this together. I didn't even consider how this was being subtly communicated by the prosecution, because in my opinion they're knocking it out of the park right now by how many Easter eggs have been laid out. And I really hope I need to listen, I need to find the juror interviews and try to hear what they what they thought about this case. I would love to know what they basically said, because this is, in my opinion, this is a standard. I have always said that. But anyway, that's the intent part done. We have already gone through Sheila. No need for that. Of course, Ron Ray had told Baker had told Ron Ray around December that him and Monica were planning to go off to Vegas, which actually ended up happening. So you can't even say that Baker was being a stalker at this point. I want to hear how the defense handles that in the future, because that's not important right now. What's important right now for the defense is to try and clean up what had basically been established on the cross-examination, on the direct examination of Christopher Austin, which we're going to get to. And then we heard testimony from Chris Gable that there was a Viber message exchange between Monica and Baker after she had reparked at Target. So I need share screen. I'm so sorry, guys. Let me go back to it again. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's go back to Christopher. I didn't even realize. Let's go back to Christopher. Sorry, not Christopher. Curtis Davis again.
Exhibit 161. Can you describe to us what we're looking at here?
Just shown. This includes all of the logged activity in that AT&T data record for that home IP address of 104.181.138.147. And there are a total of 10 entries between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and 5:15.
10 entries to the home IP address?
10 entries.
Yes.
Did I have you explain this? The AT&T mobility records, this also shows, this corroborates what we just looked at, correct?
Yes, so AT&T, very meticulous in their record keeping, has another set of records that shows all the data coming in to that particular device. It doesn't show IP addresses like the other record did.
but this one does show bites down, and consistent with the other information we've just seen, it shows, again, a surge in downloaded activity coming into that device.
What is that surge consistent with? The same thing we've been talking about, accessing the CCTV cameras through your home IP address onto your phone while you're remote outside of your home?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at slide.
Hey, Sweet Pea, just want to say hi. Make sure you check her out if you're watching this back on replay, or if you're live now. She always streams trials. She's always on. She's always. I believe she's streaming Melody Faris right now. So literally go and check her out. But go and check out that coverage. But next week, I'm going to be doing a poll because I don't think we're going to be finished with this trial anytime soon. And we've already got the next trial lined up as picked by you guys. I believe that is the Christina Ricci case from Massachusetts. So we are going to dive into that next. But I want to do the next one because I know that this one is going to be long as well. So I want to do the next poll for next week so that we can have a backlog and I don't have to poll every week and, start polling every month from then on. So anyway, yes, this is Blair Burke. I'm sure Random Girl knows that this is Johnny Depp's previous lawyer.
95, another linkage chart. What do we see here?
This is my visual representation of everything I just talked about to hopefully help it make sense.
Okay, so the app, iPhone, cell towers, AT&T, router, DVR, cameras. That's how it works in literal milliseconds. So everything to see the login on all those things, this is how it basically worked. That's basically what happened. So that testimony was crucial because what he testified to next, what Curtis David testified to next, was Monica accessing the same IP address from the Diane Arbor email, which we heard from Jake Gibson. This is the connective tissue that was being created with Curtis Davis. Again, that email is how it connects to Baker because only he has that information, and it was traced back to Baker. That's how Baker knew. And on top of that's how Baker knew about the DVR system. On top of all of that, regarding this whole DVR system, on top of all of that, Austin had no idea. That was a new revelation that we have never come to hear. Austin had zero idea about his DVR system. Baker never told him about a DVR system. Only he knows. So that's why he was perfect for all of this. As I was hypothesizing in the previous episode, that there is no way that Monica was going to let there was no way that Monica was going to let Christopher Austin go home and not complete this job. Christopher Austin establishes the motive and shows, in fact, it reveals that the 23rd of January 2023 was an opportunity murder. Like, it shows the opportunity to get it done without any kind of pre-planning whatsoever. They didn't plan this. The plan was for the 22nd. That's all. That was the actual plan. The first attempt, that was the plan, which is why it's important to look at the prior testimonies from regarding the DVR system, because and to be honest, there has been a lot of talk about this DVR system, but there has not been a lot of expansion, and maybe we're not gonna hear any more expansion on it. But Delia Pacheco basically testified that the cameras were in the garage, that the cameras were always situated in the garage. Jessica Sementilli testified to the same thing, that the cameras that the monitor may have been in the kitchen, but she always knew them to be in a garage. And Corey Hawk, who was the LAPD criminalist, gave an adjacent testimony around this, because she testified that in regards to the crime scene on the 23rd, and she said that there were red stains from the garage to the kitchen, because we know that the murder was carried out in the patio or something. I think patio, kitchen, or whatever. But we know that, and so the stains from the garage likely came from Baker. So that is showing the trail that he went deliberately after the killing, went deliberately to the garage, picked up the DVR and left. And then we get to hear, and of course I'm going to bring a bit more context here from Verna, because on call 5 with Detective Parshall, between Monica and Parshall, she says in that audio that there was a new DVR that was installed, but she doesn't know if the cameras were used. She doesn't know if the cameras were used. That's what she said. Well, according to, this is the connective tissue again. This is what shows the contradiction with that testimony, because he shows here that she does know. She had full knowledge because she was the one that has the app on her phone to actually access. Come on, man, I'm surprised. Like, I was wondering why this was being highlighted from the start, but now we know. Now we know why that call was very important to bring up from the start. Also, the follow-up questions in regards to this whole DVR system again that was asked to Verna was that Monica was claiming that the old that it was an old DVR system, and there was an app where Fabio could look up and see the video feed, but she never had access. Hear it. She never had access to this DVR. And the way that it was asked to get this information in, it was, did she tell you this? And she responds, no, she never told me this. That's evidence now, because she never told. It was insane way to bring in outside evidence that you can't override on hearsay or anything like that. You can't, like, the fact that by the virtue that he had now validated that question by saying, no, she never told me, this now becomes evidence. She never told him, and now it serves as contradiction to basically show that no, you had the app, you can basically access it. Yes, you had the idea, you had the knowledge that you can access this remotely, and you were saying that Fabio could only access it. Now we know. So everything, that's the context to show everything basically spilling over. Basically, that everything was spilling over to Christopher Austin, which is where we are at now, because now we are now going to see how the defense handled all of this. How did they handle Christopher Austin bringing everything that he was bringing out? So Random Girl says, me being the nerd that I am, I know that she's Debs. This is where nerds unite. This is the den of nerds. I'm gonna call this the den of nerds. How about that? The den of nerds. Seriously, I love it when we are nerdy over here. I want everyone to basically just give their craziest, like, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever, geek out. If you geek out, it does not matter. It does not matter because end of the day, we find the finer details on this. Look at my mic, for example. You have to be a nerd to want to put up something like this just to get the highest point. I don't know. Anyway, I'm playing. Anyway, let's go into the cross-examination of Christopher Austin now that we're here, because like I said, he revealed a lot in regards to the DVR system. He revealed a lot. He revealed a lot in regards to the insurance and how Monica said and how Baker told him that they were going to get insurance. He revealed a lot in regards to the first attempts. That was never even known. That was the bombshell. How did the defense handle this bombshell? Let's go into his testimony and hear what they have to say, because I did notice a couple of things from Christopher Austin's testimony as well as Corey Farell, which we're going to look at as well. And then I'll get your thoughts in regards to what you think about how the defense handle it. So this was a highlight that I thought was quite interesting, where Christopher Austin testifies to Baker being the only person relaying to him that Monica wanted Fabio killed. How do you think the defense handled this? Let's listen.
No, sir.
But according to you, he participated in this. He advised you, he coached you, he knew all about it, right?
Yes.
Is it your testimony then that the only thing that changed in your description of what happened between what you told the Perkins guy and the police and the district attorney in Vancouver is that you added the fact that Mr. Baker was communicating with Monica Sementilli and telling you that this is what she wanted as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, again, you never spoke to her about this, correct?
Yes, sir.
You never saw her except at the gym, correct?
And her home.
And the one time at her home. I'll get back to that. But there was no conversation at that time about killing her husband, right?
No, sir.
So other than that, all the evidence or communications, I'll put it, that she was involved in any way with the planning and killing of her husband is that you say Mr. Baker told you that, right?
Yes, sir.
You weren't even there on the phone with her when she was allegedly telling him that, were you?
No, sir, I was not.
You weren't listening in, correct?
No, sir, I was not.
You didn't hear her voice, correct?
That is correct.
You didn't see any text messages, correct?
That's correct.
In fact, most of the time he was in another room and came out and told you, she tells me she wants to do it, wants him out of the way, she wants us to kill him, he's not home, all sorts of stuff like that, right?
Yes, sir.
You weren't even in the same room with him, right?
Not all the time, no.
Well, can you remember any dates? Let me ask you this. Can you remember any dates other than at the gym one time when he introduced you to her? Is that right?
Yes.
And as long as I'm on that subject, you believed, well, he told you she was just one of the girls he was seeing, right?
Yes.
You knew he had seen a lot of girls, right?
Yes, sir.
Was he married at the time that he introduced you to Monica Sementilli?
No, sir.
But he had been married to who, as far as you know?
Nikki.
Nikki, did you know someone like Dee as well?
I did.
All right.
Okay, so that was their attempt in regards to explaining or trying to reframe, trying to give a different angle, a different version of events, an alternate version in regards to Baker being the only person to have been relaying to him that Monica wanted him killed. So they relied on the, how do you know that this wasn't another girlfriend that he was referring to, all those things? How do you think they did on that occasion? I'm going to move on to the next part that I thought, I don't know, if you guys spot other interesting parts in the cross-examination when you go watch it, definitely, or if you've already seen this before, highlight it, because I'm kind of interested. I know that the movie is over. I know that the story is kind of done because we know the verdicts, but I'm always interested to see how moments like this, how those pivotal moments, those pivotal testimonies, how they shape strategies, how how the defense or the state would respond. So I thought that these were the key responses anyway. So let's go to the second one that I know is in which Christopher Austin was basically giving testimony about not telling anybody anything in regards to the murder.
Obviously it failed. Until he had killed her husband?
All right, let me go back a little bit. That's
because she felt so bad about what had happened, of notifying the police and telling them that Robert Baker and Monica Sementilli had killed her husband?
No.
Why not?
I was told not to say anything to anybody.
But you said you felt really responsible, right? Right?
I was a part of it.
You were a part of it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't feel like telling the police who did it and how they did it before you committed suicide?
I feel like telling anybody.
And you didn't.
No, sir.
Did your wife ask you how the trip was down to L.A.?
No.
She didn't?
Well, no, she said everything good, and I said, yeah.
Weren't you supposed to be going down for your birthday?
Yes.
And you told her that, correct?
Yes.
And at the time you flew down, you had no idea whether or not Fabio Sementilli was going to be in a house alone or not, or on a trip or anything, correct?
No, sir.
Not correct?
Did you ask, is that the question?
Yes. Did you know whether or not he was going to be home over that weekend so you could kill him?
Didn't know he was going to be at the house. No.
When did you find out?
When Baker told me.
When did he tell you?
When he picked me up shortly after, within that time frame of driving to his house.
So he picked you up from his residence where you were staying?
Picked me up from the airport.
Right from the airport, right to the house?
Yes, sir.
And did he tell you how he learned that, or why you were going to the Sementilli house at that time?
I'm sorry.
Did he tell you where you were going?
When we was from the airport?
Yes.
No.
Did you know you were coming down to kill him?
Yeah, I knew.
So why'd you fly down?
I was hoping it wouldn't even happen.
Did he threaten you in any way, Mr. Baker, with any physical harm or any other harm if you didn't agree to kill Fabio Sementilli?
That's a good question.
No, sir.
Did Mr. Birdsong threaten you in any way if you didn't agree to kill Fabio Sementilli?
No, sir.
Also a good question.
So you get down to the airport and then you're picked up by Mr. Baker, correct?
Yes, sir.
Driving the Versa, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he takes you immediately to the Sementilli house?
No, sir.
Where did he take you?
To his house.
So when you came down, your expectation was you were going to kill him, right?
Objection as to
Right?
That's what he expected me to do.
So when you landed at the airport and he picked you up, did you ask him, what's going on? When are we going to do this? How? Where?
Nope.
You didn't care?
He just still started filling in information.
I'm sorry?
He just started telling me information.
Like what?
Said, look, I'm gonna text her, let her know everything's still good. He asked me if I was good. I was like, I'm okay.
He was going to text her and find out if everything was good?
Yes.
Okay, did he tell you what that meant?
No.
And he asked you if everything was good with you?
I said yes.
And that meant, are you ready to go kill him?
No.
What did it mean?
My well-being.
Your what?
My well-being.
Your well-being. But you expected at that point to complete the murder, right?
No.
Isn't that what you came down for?
Yes.
So where'd you go from that point?
To his apartment.
So that was the cross-examination to try again, because he was apparently scared to silence. How do you think how do you think the defense done there? Because they had to hit that point to show that he could have left at any point. There was no threats or anything like that. And they were trying to basically show that this guy is actually just testifying as a self-serving, it's a self-serving testimony, trying to get him out, trying to get himself out of this, which is why he's doing this, and which is why he's saying all these things, and why his testimony could be unreliable, because he could have left all this point. He wasn't being compelled to carry out this murder. How do you think that went? Anyway, so I want to go on to the next part of the testimony, in which where they were trying to remove Monica away from the whole equation, from her being involved in all of this. Let's take a listen to how they let's just watch how they handle this part.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
He got you into it, right?
Via defendant, yes.
via the defendant.
Yes.
The defendant asked you to kill Fabio Sementilli?
Through Baker, yes.
That's what Baker told you, you say, right?
Yes.
And you told that to the police.
Yes.
You told the police and the detective up in Vancouver that Miss Sementilli was involved?
I don't think I told them that until I got here.
Okay. So that's my question. You asked them what they needed, right?
Yes, sir.
And you knew they needed Miss Sementilli. They, you know, the bitch is the only one they don't got. She's going to trial. Baker's already been convicted, blah, 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 right?
Based on what the information they presented to me.
So you knew the only one they did not have any evidence against was Monica Sementilli.
I did not know that.
Sustained.
All right, let's go into the point in which this escalated. Where the dug further a little bit into this, because there was in a little back and forth, but in regards to the involvement, in regards to because he gave testimony during this cross-examination about Monica always being on, well, Baker speaking on the phone with somebody, that he inferred that it was Monica. And what the defense was basically trying to do is, how do you know it was Monica? And him not being schizophrenic and talking to himself and then trying to get you involved in this, because that's his motive to carry this out and be with Monica. That was how they were trying to reshape all of this. Let's listen to the testimony.
Baker was talking, correct?
How do you mean?
You never saw him talk to Monica Sementilli where you heard her voice or you saw text messages.
That is correct.
So what you told them was that Mr. Baker had gone into another room, sometimes was talking and came out and said to you, she wants him dead. She's giving me information. She's telling me what she wants. That's what you told them.
That's what I told them.
For the first time.
Yes, sir.
That you had never told them in Vancouver, to the Perkins guy or to the officers there.
That is correct.
And the reason you told them that was if you did not tell them that, and you knew this, you were not going to get a deal. Isn't that right?
No, that is not right.
Well, you haven't gotten a deal yet before you brought in Miss Sementilli, had you?
That's a good question.
No, I did not.
All right. This question, again, they went back and forth again, because he was trying to, and I guess I understand what the defense were trying to do, which was to, again, implant this idea into the jury's head that all of this is coming from Baker. That's their theory. Baker is the one to have done this. That's their third-party culprit. That's the person you want. It's not Monica just because they were dating for a while. It is not her that you're looking for. It is Baker, because he is the one that's clearly orchestrating all of this. They're basically saying, your lying eyes are wrong. Your eyes are lying to you, because forget the fact that she deleted the text messages. Forget the photo. I'm going to get to that. Forget all of that. What he is saying is not great. Not credible, sorry, I meant to say. This is where everything changed. This is the hinge. This is the pivotal point, in my opinion, in this cross-examination. And I want you guys to tell me in the chat, if you're lurking, that's fine. You can continue lurking, but it would be great if I could hear your thoughts around this moment. And and if you're watching this back on replay as well, it'll be great. Let's hear it.
And I'll take care of everything.
Okay.
So
Like a
trust
little
me. Okay? I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Baker said, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Trust me. Just go with me and I'll take care of everything.
Okay.
So I went with him.
But you left something out, what Baker told you, didn't you?
I left a lot out what Baker told me. Baker also told me not to mention her.
Okay, not to mention her.
That's bad.
Right? But he also told you that you were just going up there with him to rough him up because she'd been mistreated by her husband, correct?
He told me that he was abusive.
He was abusive and you were going there to rough him up. That's what you told the detectives up in Vancouver and you told the Perkins guy, correct?
That is correct.
That is something that we have never heard in this trial. Baker being abusive. Not Baker. Fabio being abusive. That is the one detail we never heard in this trial on top of the second attempt. And this is coming from cross-examination. This is coming from cross-examination. This was never established on the direct examination. Again, what do you think of this cross-examination?
Was that the truth?
No, it was not.
Why did you lie about that?
Because I did not have an attorney present to give me proper counsel. And I didn't know them to tell them anything in the cell.
And then you went on and told them that you stabbed them in the neck.
After I talked to the detectives.
Did you change it?
I'll just stop here for a minute. I'll go back to it in a second. But Trial Channel, they're relying on Baker to save them. I cannot wait. Whenever we get to the point that Baker testifies, I am going to be over the moon in terms of bringing context, in terms of lining up everyone's testimony. And then as we go through the screen, I'll just be knocking them out and just seeing what happens. Because I imagine is going to be contradictory heaven. Like, I don't know the proper adjective to describe what's going to happen, but I imagine it's going to be out of this world in terms of seeing someone's exposure. I just can't wait for that.
And tell them it wasn't just to rough him up, it was to kill him?
I remember telling him it was to rough him up, yes.
Well, how did it get from roughing him up to killing him? Did he resist in any way?
Who?
Mr. Sementilli.
A little. I think a little, yeah.
Oh, how did he...
But Baker started stabbing him already, so...
How did he defend himself?
Okay, that's it. This is, again, everything is here. This is the turning point because end of the day, this bolsters his credibility. We're going to go into the next testimony that he gave in regards. Again, it's all about the bulk of cross-examination has been trying to remove Monica from the equation because they know that Baker is the only glue holding them together. Irrespective. I'm sorry. Oh, despite what we know already, like this case is despite what we know already, this is what they're all handling with. And I was waiting. I'm going to play this last part and then I'm going to go through what I was hoping that they bring up at least that they didn't do.
Offer, correct?
So let's move on.
I'm trying to find out when it was that you switched your testimony to what you're saying now, which is what you said yesterday.
Didn't switch my testimony, didn't tell them anything until I talked to my attorney and he told me, you cannot BS, you have to tell them everything. So, you're asking me to remember something from 8 years ago. I barely remember what I ate for breakfast 2 weeks ago. With that being said, I did the best of my ability to recount from 2016 in July when I went to Vegas to have a good time. So I thought. And then conversation came up. And when conversation came up, I knew too much. He had told me that before, in the past. When you know too much, you can't say anything. So I didn't say anything. I did everything that Baker asked me to do.
Everything that we were talking about in regards from the previous scene is just validated right here. That's the only reason why Christopher Austin was even involved in this, because he was coerced. It just seems like he was coerced emotionally to be involved. I don't know what was said. Maybe we have to listen to Birdsong. Maybe we have to listen to Roy Baker to see what happens. But the one thing I was hoping to hear in all of this is the DVR. We didn't hear any testimony about the DVR. We didn't, and I can see why. I can see why that's the case, because the question was, did Baker tell you about the DVR? And it was a no. So, like this, it's so perfect, because end of the day, there's no room to actually go into that. I was also hoping, at least, for them to play around with the whole idea of the first attempt and why he didn't leave at the first attempt. They were more focused on trying to knock Monica out, that they forgot, in my opinion anyway, they forgot that this guy had a golden moment right there in which he did leave, he didn't want to go through with it, and then he turned around. You might think, okay, you're turning around, let's go and focus on Baker, because Baker is the one that made him turn around, not Monica. So that's the only reason why I believe that they were focusing on that. But in my opinion, I would have just I would have just loved to see how I know that their options were limited. I'm not, their options were extremely limited, but I do think they had a small opening, very, very small opening, if they had gone into, you scoped around the area, you done all of this, and yet you turned around, Baker said this to you, you turn around, and then you say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. This is why I do believe that they are, they are questioning let me think about this. I just forgot the question in around. Damn! I just forgot. But the question around the threatening between Baker was really good for them, but it just didn't remove, or it didn't hit hard enough, in my opinion anyway, as to why he would turn around and go ahead and do something that he just had cold feet about doing it. What's the actual reason? And that was never established. Maybe that was what they were going for, but it just wasn't established. And I think that was a turning point there. Let me know what you think, because the next witness, Cyrey, they didn't even have any answers for him, because all he was doing was just presenting data. He didn't have any personal knowledge. So I think a lot of what Cyrey has testified to is going to be challenged, or at least they are going to try and use that information with Missy Roberts. Maybe she's gonna go into it and then they can attack it that way. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. But they didn't even do well against Cyrey. So the last person was Corey Farell, and his cross examination that I'm gonna look at. And Corey Farell, I do think that, in my opinion, the cross examination, the way that the previous testimony went with Leonard Devine was bad. I think that the defense noticed that, and they changed, because Blair Burke was the one that came up. And I'll be very honest, and this is not me being a Blair Burke stand, I did see what she was going for. And so when she was handling the homicide, the person that arrested Baker and gone through the Perkins operation, I did highlight 4 manipulative points that she highlighted from her cross-examination, that she was revealing from her cross-examination. That was her angle, basically. She was trying to show that the Perkins agent was basically manipulating Austin to give the testimony that she was doing, to basically confess to all of this and try to implicate Monica in all of this. I mean, it was great, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to try and go into why it was good. So this is the first manipulation point that I highlighted from the cross-examination, because the person's name was Willie Boyd. That was the Perkins agent that was going in to speak with Christopher Austin. Let's take a listen in regards to some of the things that Willie Boyd was saying to Christopher Austin. This was the first manipulation point.
Undercover agent told Christopher Austin, you can get an attorney, but guess what? You could be sitting in jail 3 to 4.
Hold up. What was in the pillowcase? What was in the pillowcase? Please let me know, because I did actually highlight this pillowcase, and I was wondering what was actually inside the pillowcase when Baker was getting rid of it. What was in that pillowcase? Please let me know, because I don't know anything about that. If you don't want to spoil it for me, that's fine as well. But my curious mind would like to know.
4 years fighting a case to win that 3 or 4 years you can be at home not fighting shit.
That's what he said.
Okay. Now, you did your first stimulation by walking over to the jail cell and speaking to Austin and the undercover agent. And I think you testified on Friday that you introduced yourself as a detective from the Los Angeles Police Department. You made him aware that he was detained for a warrant from Los Angeles. You did that?
Yes.
You also testified that you explained that our goal was to speak with him so that we could obtain information as to everyone's role in the murder of Fabio Sementilli. You told him that?
Yes.
So immediately, again, the Perkins agent was telling him to get an attorney, and then he was being explained what was happening. From the defense sequencing, I'm going out on a limb to trust them here, because the last time I trusted a lawyer, which was Hank Brennan, I got to learn that the facts that he was bringing out was even incomplete. So anyway. But that was the first manipulation, which is, it's a big manipulation, because if this guy who is undercover is telling you to get your attorney, that is influencing your thinking and your subsequent actions. The next manipulative thing that I highlighted was here, where the Perkins agent, Willie Boyd, was having a conversation with Austin. And to be honest, they did ramp it up a little bit, and this one was really overt.
Line 4 through 8. If you could read that silently. In fact.
Okay, I've refreshed my recollection.
Does it refresh?
Yes.
And in fact, the undercover agent tells Christopher Austin, you know the situation. You got to save yourself, man. That bitch is trying to get out. At this time, I'm just trying to be honest. Fuck that. Fuck her life. It's her life or your life. The agent told that to Christopher Austin, correct?
Yes.
And he immediately responded to the agent by saying, yeah, and then saying to the agent, I don't know her. I don't keep up with his escapades, you know? That was none of my business.
Yes.
And the agent then says to him, but right now, it's your life or her life. You barely knew the bitch, you saying. You got a family. This hoe been in jail. You get what I'm saying? He said that to Christopher Austin, correct?
Correct.
The agent starts questioning Austin in the cell also about what his role was in the case, correct?
Yes.
And he tells the subject, Christopher Austin, or he asks, what was the bitch's role? And Austin doesn't respond, correct?
I don't remember, man.
Would it refresh to look at it?
Yeah.
44, line 16 to 18.
All right, let's fast forward a little bit. But just so we are up to speed, again, what is the role? Fuck this bitch. Release. She is in jail. This was in jail. You get what I'm saying? All of those things. Now we get to the point here.
His role, and he doesn't respond. The undercover agent says to Austin, they're going to let you know.
Yes, that's what he said.
And then he follows that by telling Austin that they, and I think he's still referring to the police or the DA, they can either make your life more miserable or make your life go back to the way it was before they came fucking with you. He told him that as well.
He told him that, but I don't know who he was referring to the day.
Okay. And all during this time, the agent has been directed to say these things to Christopher Austin or not directed?
Not directed.
Did you think it was appropriate for the agent to be telling Christopher Austin these things that he was telling him?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Detective, the Perkins agent continues for quite a while to talk to Christopher Austin and tell Christopher Austin things before you come back to the cell around 12:30 again, correct?
That sounds correct.
And the Perkins agent makes clear to Christopher Austin that they want the big fish, and that the big fish is Monica Sementilli, correct?
I don't know that. I mean, I don't know what he was referring to.
They want the big fish. Yeah, we don't know what he was referring to. And to be quite fair, I will caveat everything that I'm saying from the beginning of this. I'm not a Perkins agent, so I don't know the nuances of their job and why they're doing all of this. In my opinion, I think they at least have to act within the parameters of let's give the defense something, let's give the state something. I think that's what they have to juggle with, because there are some things here that you're like, well, this looks bad for the state, and there's some things here that you're like, well, this looks bad for the defense, because especially with the lawyer part, I think that looks really bad for the state, considering that this guy is working and he's saying, get a lawyer, get a lawyer, don't speak to them. Because you have to question, from that moment, had he not said that, would Christopher Austin had gotten a lawyer? Because that's a very important question to ask. Hey, Brooklyn, welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Thank you for tuning in. Good to see you again. But yeah, also, because it makes you wonder the next set of questions. The next set of, because what would he have done? Would Christopher had gotten a lawyer, received the advice that he had gotten, had it not been for his Perkins agent? That is a question that you have to juggle with. And then this is the third manipulative thing that I think this is the most important one that I thought was very weird for a Perkins agent to say without me knowing the intricacies of the role. Hopefully they bring in this agent to come and testify to what he was doing, like they brought in, the undercover agent for the Donna Adelson case. I wouldn't imagine that the state wouldn't bring him in. I think they would bring him in, but I'm interested to hearing that testimony. But anyway, let's listen to this testimony.
And he says to the undercover agent, seen her, but I don't know her.
He said before that he's seen her, but then after said he did not know her. He acknowledged that he had seen her, but didn't know her.
And he tells the agent, I can't remember what she looked like. Like I said, my uncle was with a lot of women.
Yes.
And shortly thereafter, the undercover agent tells Austin that he's going to have to switch up his story. Is that right?
I don't remember that.
He tells the agent, well, would it refresh to look at page?
Let's continue on because he's going to look at it for a while.
Real fucking shit.
Oh, that's too far ahead. There you go.
Told Austin, of course you're going to have to switch your story up a little bit. You got to get that shit right before they come talk to you, bro. Real shit, real fucking shit. He
Yes.
told Austin that, correct?
Yes.
He told Austin to switch his story up.
And then minutes before you come back to the cell to take Austin and do any more stimulation, you also know that the agent told Austin that he had a job to do, and it's up to him if he's going to do his job, correct?
I don't remember that. Is that the same page?
Did he say to Austin, did Austin say to him, I should say, they're down here to do a job, page 116, lines 6 through 11?
Yes.
And in fact, the agent responded to Austin by saying, well, you got a job too to do, and it's up to you if you're gonna do your job, bro. You got two jobs you can do. You can do the job that's gonna get you home, or do the job that's gonna get you gone. And Austin responds, it's still up to the DA, whoever the DA is. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then you go to the cell around 1:15 that afternoon, and you go to get Christopher Austin and take him to an interview room, correct?
That sounds correct.
Okay, so that's all I wanted from that, because I'm now going to go into the redirect examination. After all of this, I'm going to go to the redirect examination to see how they handled this manipulation, how the state handled it, and then and then we are going to talk about all of this madness. I want to get your thoughts. I really do want to get your thoughts. But this is the first point, and then the first point that I saw the state handle in regards to the volunteer of information, because that's what the cross-examination was designed to do. That everything he was doing was basically in response to the Perkins agents. So knowing this, Beth Silverman goes in to test to, just find out more information around this, bring out a lot more context around this particular point of contention.
Really, that it was insurance money. What the reason was for the murder of Fabio Sementilli, that it was insurance money.
Yes.
And in fact, did he bring that up all on his own without any prompting from anybody?
Yes.
And did he also indicate to the Perkins agent that Mr. Baker told him that the victim in this case was an abusive husband?
We heard that?
Yes.
Okay. That's how they handled it. They just reminded, but they just reminded basically of, of what was testified to already from Austin's testimony, and also I want to highlight this part here in regards, because I think this is likely why the backtracking happened. This is something that I noticed in the cross-examination, the backtracking from the first attempt anyway, why it happened from Christopher Austin. I could be wrong, but I did realize that this was a possible pressure from Austin to participate in all of this.
Okay, I've refreshed my recollection.
Okay. And did Mr. Austin indicate that he wasn't going to get any of the insurance money?
He did.
And did he also say that he was mad that he was even a part of the conspiracy?
He did.
Objection, this states the evidence, and this states the statement.
Actually, I'll read it to you. On line 1, the Perkins agent asked how much insurance, correct?
Yes.
And on line 2, Mr. Austin said, I didn't. I wasn't going to get any of that. And I'm mad that I was even a part of it. Is that what he said?
Correct.
And then did Mr. Austin go on after the Perkins agent said he wasn't going to get any of it? What the fuck? And Mr. Austin said, I just didn't believe it until it hits to the thing. I just don't believe it. And the Perkins agent asked, did your uncle get any of the money? And Mr. Austin responded, I don't think so. Correct?
That's correct.
And the Perkins agent asked how long after his uncle had gone to jail, and Austin said a few months.
Correct.
Okay. And I think that part is important to highlight, because end of the day, I think what Austin is testifying to here is everything was dependent on this insurance money. He wised up, and I really believe he wised up and realized, wait a minute, I'm actually not going to get any of this money. This doesn't feel right. Moral plays and all those things. But I think what was the decider was the fact that it would have to go through 2 intermediaries, which is Monica first. She has to get the money, then filter it down to Baker, then filter it down to him. And he knows, okay, I can trust Baker, but I don't know who this other woman was. And we got to hear more testimony around, I don't even know this girl. So I believe that was the context in regards to Baker's to his involvement, because I think going back to what I was saying earlier, I think this is why he likely was swayed back in, because he was like, he probably was told by Baker that he has received assurances you definitely are going to get the money. It kind of makes sense as well why Baker gave him the gold coins as kind of collateral, or kind of like, this is the best way I can show you. This is the best way I can express my my believability, or you can trust me on this, or something like that. Why he was saying all of the things, like you can put it all on me. If anything goes wrong, put it all on me, or all those things from Christopher Austin's testimony. But this part was not what I was expecting. This is another new information that was brought out that I think the door was open because of the cross-examination. Let's listen.
Him to the defendant.
Yes.
And did Christopher Austin tell the Perkins agent that I know he introduced me as, to help her with racquetball. It's business. And then they got a little flirty, but that's grown shit. Like, that's none of my business.
That's what he said.
And then on the following page, did the Perkins agent state to Mr. Austin that Baker must really have liked this bitch?
I believe so.
And did Mr. Austin indicate he used to? He used to?
Yes.
I don't know why. I have no idea why that part always gets me. I don't know why. The way that Beth Silverman says he used to always gets me. But that is very interesting. Like, Baker used to like Monica. That's not what we are hearing, especially listening to the first parts of the jail calls that's been brought in by Missy Roberts. I didn't get that impression. So what is this information? Because Baker Austin was arrested in 2024. So what has happened in that period that he's saying he used to like her? What on earth is happening? We are gonna go through Missy Roberts' testimony next week. We are going to go through all the week 6 recap, but hopefully I have provided a lot of context and sequence in a way that you guys can see the narrative that has led to this moment, because the next part I want to go into, I was kind of on I don't know how, I love my YouTube algorithm sometimes because I think it knows my behavior and what I like to watch, because the minute that I finished one of the one, I think it was last week anyway. I wanted to bring this out last week, but there was too much for one episode and it would have distracted. But now that I have it, I found a YouTube channel called the Socialite Crime Club. I think some people here may have known about it, but it's where Cyree and I don't know the other girl. I haven't really gone deep into to find the background, etc. But essentially, they discuss true crime, and I found an episode that that kind of, I mean, magically, I mean, he has done way more episodes on this, but this episode really gave a bit more context into the way Cyree thinks. Cyree, the person that was giving testimony in regards to Monica's pattern of life with Baker, and also breaking down what was going on location wise, communication wise on the day of the first attempt. And I think we're going to get a bit more testimony on the day of the first attempt, I'm hoping so, because I think there's a lot more to go through there. But anyway, let me go into Cyree's this part, because there were so many things that stuck out to me in the way that he thinks, that kind of, that I just want to highlight, and in regards to the delivery of his testimony. Let's listen to this.
By emotion. The problem with that is there's two kinds of detectives.
Okay, let's go back.
Has to have the ability.
He's talking about what a detective needs to have to be a great detective.
And I feel like we need to talk about this just a little bit.
Okay, let me go back a little bit so that you can get a context.
I would say that to any other investigator. We're not going to pull a lot of punches to make sure, like, oh, well, we have to be careful. Yes, I said that in the investigation. I would say that to any other investigator I explained this to, but I'm not going to say it on camera because there might be that person that I offend. And I feel like we need to talk about this just a little bit.
Before we go into it, the poll is still running. Let me know what you think about that cross-examination. I forgot to mention that earlier, but let me know what you think about that cross-examination so that I can see, I can gauge where you're at. But definitely, if there is anything else that you guys would like me to look at, definitely let me know in the chat or in the comment section as we're covering this case.
Give our listeners a little bit of background. And there's two things I'll open this conversation with. Is a good detective has to have the ability to not let his or her investigation get hijacked by emotion.
Hijacked by emotion. Do we know a detective of all the cases that we've covered that has been hijacked by their emotions?
The problem with that is there's two kinds of detectives. Those who have had that happen and those who will have that happen. So over the course of my career, I have allowed my personal emotions to hijack an investigation that was not good for the investigation, and so has any other detective. And if they tell you they never have, they're full of shit. So you have to learn over time, how do you deal with some of the worst things humanity can throw at you and not get hijacked emotionally? And for me and a lot of people in this position, it's humor. We find humor in certain things that some people don't. It's not just law enforcement, nurses.
Yes, doctors, ambulance drivers, first responders, even firefighters. Yeah. When you start seeing the worst of humanity, the worst things that can happen to people on a daily basis, and it's just a normal thing. There's literally a switch that you have to be able to turn on and off in your head, that you pretty much turn off the emotion so that you don't just become drained of who you are as an individual.
Right. And a lot of people will judge you for that later on. You'll be told that, well, you're not being sensitive.
Ugh. If you've had this, you're like, I don't think you understand. I mean, I get everything that they're saying, and this is kind of why I wanted to do. This is what drives me to do this, because I am like this. I get everything he's saying. I am the analytical type. Like, I am that person. I can shut my emotions off at will. That doesn't mean I don't feel anything, because the minute I'm off, sometimes I get a wave of emotions hit me, and I have to emote for a bit. Like, and I don't know why that happens. I've seen a therapist about it. I'm not going to discuss this here. But what I'm trying to say is, I get where it's coming from, because end of the day, when you're looking at cases like this, it gets tough. And for me, humor is the only way I can cope, because I cannot, especially with a lot of cases, there are cases I just wouldn't touch. I know, like, for example, the Matthew Farell case, Sandra Birchmore, I can't touch that. I would die. There's just so, like, child abuse cases, all of those cases, I just avoid. But when I do touch a case, or when I do look at a case, I don't look at it to try and, I don't know. I'm not saying people look at it to feel something or go as a different direction or whatever. But there is something you can, I have this belief that cases like this can literally teach us something about not just life, but not just people, but also what to look for. And I don't know how to articulate it. I don't know how to articulate it properly, but what I'm trying to say is there are moments in certain cases that you can look at and you can be like, oh, well, should have done that differently, because I wonder what would happen if this decision was made. Or some people are like that, because like you let me let the guy talk, and then I will respond afterwards.
And I'm going to push back on that a little bit, I think. At first, I was really worried, like, oh my God, don't put me on camera and have me explain my cases, because I am going to offend somebody. But now I'm looking at this at a much more holistic view, and I'm thinking, hey, if you're going to watch this podcast, you need to understand, I probably have some mental health issues. I know you do. We have some PTSD and some different things that we've experienced. And a lot of times we cope with that through humor, and it's very natural. I want to stay genuine to the people we are. And when we tell stories, we're going to tell them just like we would our best friend. So maybe don't judge us a little bit for that. Be sensitive to our sensitivities.
Yeah, have some empathy for us.
Yes.
I think the other thing is that what a lot of people don't realize, so we go to CrimeCon, which was an awesome event. We met amazing people. You talked a little bit earlier about...
We will definitely be back next year.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about that tenacity that we talked about, the detective on the Little Annie case, right? So when you are working these cases, there is a lot of tenacious characteristics that somebody needs to have to be a great detective. There's a lot of people walking around CrimeCon who are doing so much to try to look at cases, whether they're solving their own loved one's case, or they're looking for assistance solving their loved one's case, or they're creators and they are really interested in the potential of solving a case that they've become really interested in.
I have been a cop I've been involved in investigations with law enforcement for almost 30 years. I don't ever think I've seen a bigger group of people so tenacious to just solve stuff than this group. It was insane.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I'm getting at here is that everybody wants to do true crime until it's time to do true crime. And there are things that the person who doesn't actually get to see the blood and guts of everything literally, that might not really understand the necessity of the sympathetic removal that has to come in when you work those cases all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's another perspective that we're going to do our best to bring to this podcast is when we say true crime. Well, true crime is well beyond simply telling a story. It is involvement in the case from the onset, from the 911 call, if there was a 911 call, to the physical investigation, to the follow-up investigation, to preparing it for court, to seeing it through court, your interactions with the victim's family through that whole process, your interactions with a prosecutor, your interactions with defense attorneys. Not very many people talk about the defense side of these cases, and we're going to get into those as well. What happens post-conviction?
Well, what it's like for the family during a trial. And the point we really want to drive to our viewers and listeners is, if you want to hear true crime, Socialite Crime Club is our goal to helping you understand what it sounds like.
Absolutely. We're going to give it to you raw. We're going to give it to you just like we would tell our friends. And I get that may not be for everybody, and that's okay. Yeah. But we're still going to tell the story, and it's going to be a fun story.
Okay, but okay, so the main thing that I gathered from that, I mean, I've never worked at all. I think the highest capacity that I've ever worked in a professional setting is not even anything close to that. And I get everything that they're saying in terms of, I think the highest I've worked it's just a care job, but it's one of those ones in which I identify a lot more with what he said in regards to how approaching these cases, because there is always going to be someone that has that mind that that doesn't necessarily identify with the emotions of the case, but still analytical. I don't know. The reason why I'm highlighting is because there was I think every time I speak on Twitter and I give my emotions, I give my thoughts on the case or something like that, I always get, especially with the Karen Reed crowd. I'm not calling them out or anything like that. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I'm not the type of person to like put people on blast unless they really come at me. But it's just something that I've always noticed, and it's how they are victim centered, and they don't look at a case for what it is. Like, they don't see the other side of what can happen in the case. There's a different type of mind to use for that, and the reason why I'm highlighting it the way I am is because the one thing I noticed, especially with the Karen Reed case, and this is kind of the case that really made me understand a bit more of what I should talk about in this space, at least. Like, it just made me like, you know what, I don't care. I don't care anymore, because I didn't want to be in this space primarily because I felt like I had to care about just the victims, if that makes sense. Not saying I don't, but I really think there is a lot we can learn about this, so that if we can become jurors one day, we understand the weight that goes in, understanding the weight that goes in for both sides, not just one side, which you can sympathize a lot with. I would never fault anybody for even picking a side. Fine, picking a side, but at the very least understand what's going on and what's at play, and why the bar is this high for reasonable doubt, for example. And even if you're looking at a case and then you're like, I think the state is going off here, you might have some people come at you and be like, you don't care about the victim in this. how could you say that someone has just died or something like that, which is something I saw a lot in regards to Karen Reed. I just saw that a lot, and I'm like, you can feel sorry for John and still acknowledge, no, this is not the standard that we should be upholding as a state, as people watching. There is a lot. If you're looking at the emotional weight of the victim, you should actually then be like, hey, why are you disrespecting the victims like this and carrying out an investigation this bad where you're not even recording an audio of the interviews that you're conducting? Like, there is a two-step process to really consider here. It's not. It's okay to believe that someone is guilty, but at the same time, I really believe you're doing a massive disservice if you have to erase completely one side just so that your worldview can have a place, can survive. No. I just believe clarity is important. I really believe that, and I really believe that one day we may actually find ourselves in that jury box deliberating on case or on a case, and then one day we really have to understand why we need to turn that brain off. Because personally, I don't think a lot of jurors know. Personally, I think jurors I think they do have that ability one way or the other when they're being screened. I think they're looking for those people. But in terms of understanding what's going on, I don't think that's the case. I don't like to get on my soapbox always on here. I don't. But I just thought I bring that out because it was kind of sobering to see people, to see them, professionals at least. They don't make podcasts anymore. They don't actually. They have actually stopped. I'm talking about the Socialite Crime Club. They stopped making. But it was. I thought it was refreshing to see professionals do it. I think I saw a couple from the Karen Reed case in regards to cops in Vegas. I think that was probably the only. No, not the only. The only one that I seen anyway. But I just thought I highlight that because I just think I highlight that because I feel like it's only them that people have that inherent understanding that if you come in looking analytical, it's okay because you have that experience. But then again, you have way more other people that are like myself, or I think I've met another creator that's like that always analyzes everything, but they do it in a different way, and I think it's something Martin Dakota. I don't know. There was I remember him from Dead V Heard days, Martin Dakota or whatever his name is. It's blown up now, but he just does. People like that just love to analyze. I really believe that at this space, that voice is really important anyway. But anyway, let me just stop talking. Let me go into go into the last and just give a little bit of a shameless plug to my site, which is ketchupcourt.com, ketchupcourt.info. Check it out if you want to. That's the wrong that's the wrong link I clicked. Sorry, but yeah, if you have a case that you want to suggest, go on to there. I'll put the link in the comment section so that you guys can go. And if you have a case that you want me to look at and try and break it down, etc., let me know. Also, I make trial reports on there. A lot more reports are going to be made this month. I have so many trials that I want to catch up on. I really believe, I always have this irrational fear that one day the internet is going, one day there are going to be mass takedowns, and one day it's just going to, what's going to happen is we're not going to find, info to our trials one day. So I have this knack to just record everything. So yeah, go on to ketchupcourt.info if you want to be able to catch up on these cases. But anyway, that's this week done. So that's week 6 recap of the Monica Sementilli trial done this week. I'm not going to be staying on for 2 hours 30 minutes or more, because I've been doing that this particular week, and I've enjoyed spending time with all of you guys. LV Cops, thank you so much, random girl. I completely forgot their name, but yeah, I love them. But I have enjoyed every single one of you that have been tuning in to hear me. Hopefully I have not been rambling. Hopefully I'll get better at this. I'm still learning my format. I'm still learning myself, because I've been wondering what makes me really happy doing this, and what I'm comfortable with. I'm a guy that I'm not a creator, by the way. I'm not a creator. I can't. The only reason I'm not someone that picks up a camera and talks to them. So I just never been like that. But I only do it when I know exactly what I want. Otherwise, I'm nervous all the way. Today was probably the first time I don't feel nervous, except for when I'm talking about myself, which I hate. I don't like talking about myself. I don't like critiquing a place where people make choices. I believe everyone should be able to make their own choice. I don't like to put people on blast or anything like that, or even a group on blast. I just want to do what I want to do. But I have always felt threatened in this space. I don't know why. I've always felt as if I have nothing to offer in this space if it's not victim-centered or anything like that. And I felt like I just had to say something. I don't know. That's probably the last time you will hear me say anything, because I'm not touching that again. I'm just not. I'm just going to focus on literally what I'm doing and just analyzing these cases and just block out the noise, because I'm tired. I just want, that's just that's just how I am. Alana, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. That's made my day. Thank you. But I just it's bothered. Believe me, I think Trial Channel would know this. I'm running way over the time, but Trial Channel would know this. I overthink everything. Everything I overthink. I'm just gonna stop. Just don't care anymore. If I fail, I fail. If I win, I win. I don't care what happens. Every noise is blocked out now. I don't care. I'm just gonna start saying, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care anymore. But yeah, thank you, Alana. I do care about you guys, though. I do care about you guys. People people. I want to find hopefully I can keep doing this regularly, because I do really believe that that the idea that I've fallen into inadvertently, because I only make trial reports for myself. It's to literally help me script my videos, because it's hard work putting it all together without creating a plan. And one day I just shared it and thought, okay, this might actually help somebody else like myself, and I was like, oh, this can actually be. And then I sent it to a couple of my friends, and they were like, oh wow, this is actually something that is not available. And I thought, okay, I'll just continue it then. Anyway, so anyway, let me just stop rambling. Let me just stop going on, because I think I've rambled enough. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this stream. Hopefully you guys I do have a couple of videos to be released this week. Well, next week I'm aiming to release by Saturday. Should be the Brian Walsh trial recap, as well as the Taylorship business trial. I'm covering this month. I'm covering missing wives, missing white. I forgot. Anyway, I don't know the proper title for it, but it's definitely dismemberment and people going missing. You can't missing body cases. That's the one. So Zachariah Anderson, Tedesha Business, as well as Brian Walsh. I'm going to try and figure out what is actually going on and why it happened the way it did, and what the trial basically revealed about that particular case. So watch out. Be on the lookout for that. I can't wait, and I cannot wait to release this, is my deep dive on Laura Owens, because Jesus Christ, this is the first time, I had to cover this because this was the first time I have seen the system actually hold someone who actually falsely accuses somebody accountable. I never thought I would see it. I have always seen, on some capacity, people that commit these type of crimes get away with it, but this is the first time I've seen it. I've seen the system hold her accountable, and I'm gonna show, and I want to show how it led to that moment. How it literally, what was going on, what Clayton could have done differently, what was really going on in Laura's. If I can get in there and wiggle the screws around, what was really going on in that head, and just because she has a pattern. She just has a pattern that I've noticed, and I can't wait to release that. I think I'm done with researching now. I just gotta shoot everything. 4 videos out, literally, probably should be out in the next 2 weeks. So yeah. See you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Every Sunday we are live. I probably should say that every moment. Every Sunday we're live, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be analyzing these cases. We are currently doing Monica Sementilli. We are going to be doing Christine Ritchie next. And I'm going to do a poll next week for Melody Faris. I can't think off the top of my head. That's the only name I can remember right now. But there'll be 3 more cases, so that we can have 2 cases backlogged that we can continue on and create an infinite loop where you guys get to vote for the cases that you want to see covered, because this is the people's show. It's the people's weekly show that we get to hang out. So anyway, I go by the name of Heinz. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your friendly neighborhood Ketchupman. Yes, if you don't know who I am, get to know. You will see a lot more of me, because hopefully I can continue doing this full time. That's what I'm working towards anyway. Enough about me. I hope you guys have a great evening wherever you're at. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much, Random Girl Alana, as well as Trial Channel, for tuning in, and the Lurkers, and also taking a trial. Thank you for tuning in. The Lurkers as well. I know that you're there. I thank you for tuning in anyway, because I always find myself on this wrong side. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Take good care of yourself. Have a great evening. Bye for now. Oh, there we go. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Ketchup Court live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button, as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials. So make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Heinz, your friendly neighborhood Ketchupman, and I'll see you back in court.